Hey, it's me, Raika. Today we're going to have a look at Saurus, the Risen Warrior from the Wilder faction. Now, this hero wears plate-based gear, is part of the Warrior class, and his primary role is to provide a significant amount of secondary buffs and healing for your teammates. So let's have a look at his skills. His ultimate ability, Phase 4. When he uses this ultimate ability, he'll create a phased version of himself. This ephemeral version of Saurus that copies several of Saurus's skills for 9 seconds. Now this phase form will deal 85% of Saurus's original damage. So this is a copy of Saurus. Now he can have multiple of these copies of himself on the battlefield. Now these copies are untargetable during this particular ultimate duration. Level 2. Enabling phase form creates a shield around Saurus that is able to mitigate 500% of the damage he receives, which persists until the phased version of Saurus disappears. The level 3, the shield is increased to 700% of the damage he receives and persists until the phased version disappears. So as we can see, if he has multiple of these phased versions active, this shield will continually refresh itself. His next ability, War Strike. Saurus uses his spear to attack all nearby enemies for 170% AoE damage, after which he proceeds to attack the nearest enemy target, dealing a further 280% damage to them and causing them to be stunned for 2 seconds. Successfully using this skill without interruptions resets the cooldown timer for Saurus's Burst Strikes skill. So Burst Strikes is this ability over here. The level 2 increases the AoE damage to 180. Level 3, stun lasts for 3 seconds. And the final version upgrade, or level 4, the damage of the AoE component is increased to 200%. His next ability, Burst Strikes. Now these two abilities synergize with one another. Saurus deals 100% AoE damage for 4 times to all enemies within his attack range. Successfully using this skill without any interruptions resets the cooldown time of War Strike. So as you can see, this is this ability over here. Level 2, each attack deals additional damage equal to 6% of the target's current health. So this is a flat percentage that he'll deal to the enemy target. The level 3 and 13 engravings increase this damage all the way to 120%. Let's have a look at his next ability. Now this is the secondary buff version that he applies to himself and to his allies as well. Relentless. When Saurus always phase form, use either War Strike or Burst Strikes without any interruptions. Interruptions means any stun, control, fear, or charm effects that are applied on Saurus. So if none of them are on Saurus, he will continue buff himself and his allies. Saurus's attack rating and defense rating will be increased. This effect ends when any of Saurus's skills are interrupted. So he can increase it by 10% for his attack rating and 25% for his defense rating. So he can stack this 5 times for a total of 50% increased attack rating and 125% defense rating on top of his current stats. The level 2. All of Saurus's allies receive a defense and attack rating increase that is worth 80% of Saurus's own increased attack and defense rating. Level 3. All of Saurus's allies will receive 100% increase of these particular buffs. And the 16 engravings, Saurus's attack rating will be increased by 12% and defense by 30%. So as we can see, this is a total of 60% increase to attack rating and a total of 150% of increase to his defense rating as well. So this is a significant damage and defensive increase as well. So this is his secondary or other utility that he can provide to his allies through his signature item, Warrior's Valor. When you unlock the signature item, when the skill Relentless, this is his passive, can no longer be stacked, so that is 5 stacks, Saurus will start recovering his health every second. So he will be recovering 40% of his health. The level 10 and 20, this increases the recovery rate to 100%. And finally, the reason why you mostly build Saurus is for the 30 signature item. When the skill Relentless can no longer be stacked any further, Saurus's allies will recover 150% of his attack rating as health every time the skills War Strike or Burst Strikes are used without being interrupted. So he can continue to provide healing, secondary buffs, and a significant amount of damage for your allies as well. So let's have a look at his furniture over here. Impregnable resistance. Now when you unlock the 3 out of 3, these two effects are damage reduction buffs that Saurus will have so that he can survive longer in the course of the battle. So the 3 out of 3 reduces 10% less damage whenever he uses burst or wall strikes. 9 out of 9, this is increased to 25% less damage when using those two respective abilities. So let's have a look at how he does in battle. So we're going to start off with the wooden trading dummy right over here. So we walk onto battle and start slashing at enemies. So as we can see, this is the relentless buff. He has 2 stacks, and this can be stacked either through his phased versions or from Saurus himself. Now, as we can see, he's currently buffing himself with the attack and defense rating, and he'll slowly start healing himself and his allies as well. So let's have a look at his ultimate. So as we can see, he'll shield himself. This will give him protection from incoming damage, and in addition, he will also be continually hitting and striking the enemies down. There we go. As we can see, this 5 stacks will only remain there as long as he does not get interrupted in battle. So Saurus over here is primarily used in Cursed and Nightmare Corridor. Now he's extremely squishy, especially against higher level deficits, that means 150 and above, as he sometimes gets one-shotted before he has had a chance to use any of his respective abilities. So if we have a look at this particular battle over here, he provides a significant amount of healing and damage for his teammates. So when we enter battle, he'll constantly be providing healing. Now, where other allies have a trigger or they need to use ability in order to be able to heal their allies, as long as Saurus is at 5 stacks and is not interrupted, so as we can see, the energy denial or ultimate denial does not take an effect on stacks. However, as soon as he got feared, he immediately lost all of his stacks. But if he's able to stack up his stacks all the way to 5, he's able to provide all those excellent buffs for your teammates. Now, as soon as he gets 5 stacks from his respective abilities, his other allies will be supercharged in terms of attack rating, defense rating, and will be continually healed from his respective abilities. Now, if you can group up enemies, especially in this case over here, his abilities will be able to stun the entire team over here. There we go. So we have had a look at how he works in battle. So what is the minimum investment that I would recommend for this particular allied hero? Now, I would highly recommend getting his 30 signature item. The reason for this is for this healing that he provides to your entire team, irrespective of where they are in your allied half or they're in the enemy half. And then I would also recommend getting his 9 out of 9 furniture, as this will provide him a decent amount of a damage reduction from this 3 and 9 furniture unlock. Now, I would not recommend getting his 30 engravings or his 60 engravings, as they do not provide a buff to him that is noticeable, especially in terms of his damage or his relative healing capabilities in battle, as many other allied heroes can either do more damage or more healing. He's mainly used for his secondary buffs, as we can see from his relentless buffs that he provides to his teammates in battle.